What if the answer you have been searching for was never far away? What if it was not hiding from you, but waiting for the exact moment when you would finally become quiet enough to receive it? If you are here right now, listening to these words, it may not be random. It may be that something in you, something deeper than thought, recognized this message before your mind understood why you clicked. Your presence in this moment means that a part of you is ready to stop chasing signs outside and begin noticing the quiet intelligence that has been speaking through your life all along. The answer has already found you. Maybe you have been asking in silence. Maybe you have been looking at the sky, at numbers, at dreams, at conversations, at sudden emotions you could not explain. Maybe you have been waiting for one clear confirmation, one unmistakable direction, one whisper from the universe that says, "Yes, keep going, this is the path." And soon, you will begin to understand why the answer does not always arrive as a sentence. Sometimes it arrives as a pause. Sometimes it arrives as a closed door. Sometimes it arrives as the feeling that you can no longer betray yourself. Before this message ends, you will see three things clearly. First, why the question you keep asking has changed you. Second, why the universe often responds through resonance rather than force. And third, why the answer you seek may already be moving through your body, your choices, and your timing. So take this as an invitation, not a demand. If this frequency speaks to something in you, subscribe and become part of this space, not as a casual act, but as a small commitment to keep listening to what your soul has been trying to remember. When you subscribe, let it mean, I am willing to receive the next message when the time is right. And now, breathe softly. Stay with this. Because the answer may not come the way you expected. It may come in the way you are finally able to understand. There are moments in life when everything seems normal on the surface, but something inside you knows that an invisible threshold has been crossed. You wake up, you go through the day, you answer messages, you smile when you need to smile. And yet beneath all of it, there is a quiet ache asking, is this really all? Is this the direction? Is this the person I came here to become? If you have felt this, you are not alone. Many people carry questions they never speak out loud. They ask them while driving, while trying to fall asleep, while looking calm in front of others, while holding together a life that appears functional but feels incomplete from within. And maybe you have asked for a sign so many times that part of you began to wonder whether anything was listening. But listen carefully. The fact that you are still asking means the answer still matters. The fact that you have not become numb to the question means something in you is still alive, still sensitive, still connected to a larger movement of meaning. The answer has already found you. There are two paths from here. You can choose to keep moving as before, collecting distractions, postponing the inner conversation, calling your intuition confusion and your exhaustion normal. Or you can pause long enough to recognize that this search has been shaping you, refining you, preparing you to hear something that your old self could not have understood. Some people ignore these signs because they expect the universe to shout. Others begin to awaken because they notice the quiet pattern behind the noise. They notice how certain conversations repeat. They notice how the same emotion returns. They notice how the body tightens around what is false and softens around what is true. This is the first revelation. The answer is not always information. Sometimes the answer is alignment. It is the subtle recognition that something inside you expands when you are close to truth and contracts when you are moving away from yourself. If this lands in you, Gently press like, not as a performance, but as a way of anchoring this first recognition. Let the gesture say, I am noticing the difference between noise and guidance. And as you do, remember that the universe in this message is not being presented as a machine that grants every desire on command. Think of it more like a living mirror, a poetic field of relationship, a mysterious pattern in which your attention, your choices, your memories, and your longing begin to speak to one another. Some traditions have described this as spirit. Some philosophers have called it meaning. Some modern seekers call it the field. Whatever name you choose, the experience is intimate. Life seems to answer when you finally ask from the deepest place. There are perspectives, old and new, that explore the idea that consciousness is not separate from reality in the way we once imagined. We do not need to turn that into a rigid claim. We can simply observe that attention changes experience, intention changes posture, repetition changes identity. And when identity begins to shift, the world you notice also begins to shift. That is why this moment matters. Not because something outside you is forcing your destiny, but because you are becoming available to a different way of perceiving. A window like this does not stay open forever in the same form. If you ignore it, life may continue, but the same question may return wearing a different mask. If you receive it, even gently, you regain something powerful: your participation. Soon you will discover that the answer has 3 doors. The first door is the question itself. The second door is the pattern that keeps repeating. The third door is the version of you who is ready to act differently. But do not rush. Let each door open in its own rhythm. The first door is the question itself. Most people think a question is a lack, a hole, an absence of knowledge. But on the inner path, a question can be a seed. The question that will not leave you alone is often the part of your future pressing against the walls of your present identity. It asks because something wants to be born. Why do you keep returning to the same concern? Why does one possibility excite you and frighten you at the same time? Why does a certain name, place, project, relationship, or dream keep appearing in the background of your awareness? These are not commands. They are invitations to listen. And here is the second revelation. Not every question is asking for an immediate answer. Some questions are asking for your maturity. Some questions are asking you to become more honest. Some questions are asking you to stop negotiating with the version of life that keeps you small. There are those who search for answers so they can avoid changing, and there are those who allow the search to change them. You know which path is calling you. Take a slow breath now. Inhale as if you are making space around the question. Exhale as if you no longer need to attack yourself for not knowing yet. Feel the difference between pressure and presence. Feel how your body responds when you stop demanding and begin receiving. Breathe, allow, notice, soften, listen. This is the first soft doorway. You do not have to solve your entire life in this moment. You are only being invited to hear the tone beneath your own thoughts. The second door is the pattern that keeps repeating. Life often teaches in spirals. A lesson appears once as a discomfort, again as a coincidence, again as a relationship, again as a delay, again as a dream, again as a sudden knowing in the chest. At first, the mind says, "This is random." Then the heart whispers, "No, this is familiar." And eventually the soul says, "This is the message." Maybe the pattern is that you keep choosing what drains you because it feels safer than choosing what calls you. Maybe the pattern is that you wait for permission from people who are also afraid. Maybe the pattern is that whenever the universe places a new door before you, you look for proof that you cannot fail before you are willing to move. But spiritual growth rarely offers that kind of proof. It offers resonance. It offers a subtle strengthening. It offers the sense that even if you are afraid, something honest is happening. The answer has already found you. If you feel this, write in the comments, "I am ready to recognize the answer." Write it slowly if you can. Not because writing creates a guaranteed outcome, but because many people find that naming an intention helps the inner world become more organized. When you write it, you are telling yourself that you are no longer only searching, you are listening. Now the third door begins to appear, the version of you who can receive the answer. This is important. The answer you are asking for may require a self that does not keep abandoning its own clarity. It may require a self that can hold uncertainty without collapsing. It may require a self that stops asking the universe to remove every obstacle and instead asks for the courage to take the next true step. This is where the mystery becomes practical. The universe may bring the answer through a message like this, through a conversation, through a delay, through a surprising opportunity, through a feeling that does not leave. But you are the one who must become quiet enough, honest enough, and present enough to recognize it. And by the end of this message, you may not receive a loud instruction. You may receive something more valuable, a felt sense of direction, a quiet yes, a quiet no, a quiet not yet, a quiet begin. This perspective is not usually shared in a simple way, because many people prefer spectacular answers. They want lightning, visions, undeniable signs. But those who have explored the inner path for centuries, through contemplation, prayer, meditation, ritual, poetry, and silence, often point toward something subtler. The sacred rarely needs to scream when the listener is ready. So ask yourself gently, what keeps returning? What keeps calling? What keeps hurting because it is asking to be honored? What keeps opening when you stop trying to control the whole future? Do not answer too quickly. Let the question enter the deeper room. If this is helping you see your path with more tenderness, press like now and let that small act seal the second recognition. Guidance becomes clearer when I become honest. There is also a hidden fear here. If the answer arrives, then you may no longer be able to pretend you do not know. If the answer arrives, then some old excuses may begin to dissolve. If the answer arrives, then the life built around waiting may have to become a life built around choosing. That is why part of you asks for the answer while another part resists it. This is not failure. This is the threshold. The old identity wants certainty before movement. The awakening identity learns to move with sincerity, humility, and attention. You are beginning to remember that you are not only a person looking for signs. You are becoming someone who can read the language of your own becoming. This does not make you superior to anyone. It makes you responsible for the tenderness of your own truth. Share this message with someone who has been asking for direction, not to convince them of anything, but to place a small lamp beside their path. Sometimes one message reaches a person at the exact moment when their heart is tired of pretending. And now stay with me, because the next part is where the answer becomes more personal. There is a reason you have not been able to let this question go. It may be connected to a choice, a transition, a relationship, a calling, an ending, or a beginning. It may be something you have explained away many times because it seemed impractical, inconvenient, too late, too early, too uncertain. But deep inside, You know that some questions do not disappear because they are not problems. They are portals. A problem asks to be fixed. A portal asks to be entered. And this is the third revelation. The universe often brings the answer not by giving you a new thought, but by changing your relationship to the question. What once felt like anxiety may begin to feel like energy. What once felt like confusion may begin to reveal itself as transition. What once felt like emptiness may become space. The answer may be wait, but wait consciously. The answer may be move, but move gently. The answer may be release, but release without hatred. The answer may be begin again, but begin with the wisdom you did not have before. Take a moment now. Let this settle. Breathe in through the nose if that feels comfortable. Hold softly for a brief moment. Exhale slowly, as if you are loosening your grip on the need to know everything at once. Again, breathe in and imagine that your chest is not a cage, but a doorway. Exhale and let the shoulders drop. Let the face soften. Let the tongue rest. Let the hands unclench. Now imagine yourself standing beneath a vast night sky. There is no pressure in this sky. There is no judgment, only space, depth, and quiet movement. Above you, countless lights appear, not as promises, not as commands, but as reminders that your life is part of something wider than the mind can measure. In this inner sky, see the question you have been carrying. Do not force words around it. Let it appear as a symbol, a color, a shape, a sensation. Maybe it becomes a door. Maybe it becomes a flame. Maybe it becomes a river. Maybe it is only a small point of light, waiting. Now ask silently, what is the next honest step? Not the whole plan, not the final outcome, not the guarantee, only the next honest step, and then listen, feel, observe, allow, receive. If nothing comes, let the silence be part of the answer. If an image comes, let it be gentle. If a feeling comes, do not judge it too quickly. If a word appears, hold it like a seed. The answer has already found you. Let that phrase move through the body, not as pressure, as permission. If you can, place one hand on the heart or on the center of the chest. Feel the warmth of contact. Feel the rhythm of your breathing. Feel the presence of your own life. You have survived uncertain days before. You have crossed invisible bridges before. You have been guided by instincts you could not explain before. This moment is another bridge. And if this state feels meaningful, press like as a way of anchoring it. Let the gesture say, I choose to remember this calm when the noise returns. Now slowly return your attention to these words, but keep a part of yourself in that inner sky. Because what you touched there matters. The mind may doubt it later. The world may become loud again. But something in you has already heard. Here is the main revelation. The answer you have been searching for is not only about what to do. It is about who you are becoming while you search. If the universe simply handed you an instruction without changing your identity, you might follow it for a moment and then return to old patterns. But when the search itself transforms your perception, your choices begin to come from a deeper place. You stop asking, what will make me look safe? You begin asking, what feels aligned with the truth I can no longer deny? This is where the mystic within you awakens. Not the fantasy of being above life, but the grounded sensitivity to meaning inside life. You begin to notice that every delay is not rejection. Every ending is not punishment. Every silence is not abandonment. Sometimes silence is where your inner authority is being developed. You are not being asked to become someone else. You are being invited to stop living only as the version of yourself that was shaped by fear, approval, urgency, and old expectations. You are beginning to remember the self beneath the noise, the self that can listen, the self that can choose, the self that can trust slowly, wisely, without surrendering discernment. There are those who spend their lives waiting for the universe to rescue them from their own decisions. And there are those who realize that the universe may be inviting them to participate, to co-create meaning, to take one honest step and then listen for the next. You are not finished. This is the first step toward a deeper relationship with guidance. The transformation is not complete, and it does not need to be complete tonight. Something has opened. Something has turned toward the light. Something in you is becoming available. The answer has already found you. Write in the comments, "I trust the next honest step." Let that sentence be your declaration of identity. Not, "I know everything." Not, "I control everything." Not, "I will never be afraid." Just this, "I trust the next honest step." Because that is where the path becomes real. Not in dramatic promises, not in perfect certainty, but in the next honest step repeated with presence, humility, and courage. You may notice after this message that certain things feel different. A conversation may carry more meaning. A memory may return with a new lesson. A decision you have postponed may begin to feel simpler, not necessarily easier, but clearer. If that happens, meet it gently. Do not rush to turn every feeling into a sign. Instead, ask, "Does this bring me closer to truth, compassion, and integrity?" That question will protect you from illusion. It will keep the mystical grounded. It will help you receive without becoming lost in fantasy. The universe, as a symbol of vast intelligence and connection, does not ask you to abandon reason. It invites reason and intuition to sit at the same table. Now let us bring this down into daily life. When you wake tomorrow, or whenever this message finds you, do not demand a miracle. Begin with attention. Notice what gives you energy without making you frantic. Notice what drains you even when it looks impressive. Notice where your body says yes before your mind builds a case against it. Notice where your body says no even when the ego wants approval. Then take one small action. Send the message. Write the page. Close the loop. Rest before resentment. Say the truth kindly. Create the first outline. Walk away from what keeps asking you to shrink. Or simply sit in silence for 5 minutes and admit what you already know. Small actions matter because they teach the nervous system of your life that clarity is not only an idea, it is a practice. This kind of perspective has often been kept inside temples, poems, circles, initiations, and quiet conversations between those who were ready to hear it. Not because it belongs to an elite, but because it can be misunderstood when rushed. The answer is not a trophy. It is a relationship. You do not possess it once and forever. You return to it, refine it, deepen it, and allow it to mature as you mature. So if you feel that this message met you at the right time, press like one more time if you have not yet, and let it seal the intention. I am available to the guidance that leads me toward truth. Subscribe if you want to continue this journey, because the next messages will go deeper into how to recognize signs without losing discernment, how to distinguish intuition from fear, and how to stay open when life seems silent. Let subscribing be your reminder that your awakening is not a single moment. It is a path. And share this with one person who is searching for an answer, especially someone who feels tired, uncertain, or quietly on the edge of change. You do not need to explain it. Just let the message reach them. Before we close, Take one final breath. Inhale gently, exhale slowly. Feel your body here. Feel the quiet after the seeking. Feel the possibility that you are not late, not lost, not forgotten by life. The answer has already found you. Now your task is not to chase it in panic. Your task is to recognize it in peace, to walk with it in patience, and to let it reveal the next layer when you are ready. And when the next video appears, come back. Because what opened here has another door, and beyond that door is the deeper question. How do you know when the universe is guiding you, and when your fear is pretending to be guidance? Until then, listen softly. Move honestly. Trust the next honest step.